Hi, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today we're going to take a look at the progress on the 3D model of our coming edition. I've gotten pretty far on the model. Let me show you. Explicitly is what they call this. Open it up by itself. You notice the colors have changed. It's just a kind of a quirk in the program. But anyways, let's show you some details here. What you can see, this parapet detail here, this will be Advantech roof sheathing, at least at this point. I'm trying to specify all of the materials so that I can kind of get a rough price on it right now. These are, you can expose these to the weather for, it says 500 days, I believe, which seems crazy, but that's what it says. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to look it back up, but doesn't really matter. This will be covered by flat roofing membrane, and right now I'm leaning towards a solid vinyl membrane, but that may change. I haven't quite figured this out yet. I may go with a liquid. I'm not sure yet. And then I gotta cut some scuppers, some holes in here for the scuppers. This is probably going to be the window configuration, but I may go taller with the windows and go up to the exact height of the door. Really kind of losing out on that space, and there's some unneeded framing up here. I can just go the same way, and I believe this is a 2x10 up here. If I move these up, I can just make 2x10 headers. And I believe that's what I did on the house too. Let me see. No, the house is, yeah, the house, they're closer to the ground in the house as well. So I might change the windows out. Not sure, but the location of the windows and the width is probably going to remain the same. The trusses, I believe this is called a modified Howe truss, H-O-W-E. But what it is it's tapered on the top, and because they are only 12 inches at this end, I'm gonna have to do them 16 inches on center to get the stiffness that I want. I want this to be a very rugged little addition because it has a deck on top. The deck itself will use, what are those called? Levil.it levelers by Bison, and the deck will be flush with this board right here. This board on top of the parapet will be a matching board to the deck, so it will be a seamless transition right across to the other side. The other side will have this on it, and then it'll have a metal railing on the top of that, and there will be about a 3-inch step down from the house onto the deck. The stairs coming down, if you watch the other video, that'll change at some point. Both of these windows in the back are framed out as door frames, and the window framing within them is temporary, so at a later date I can just open up the drywall, unscrew the window frame, take out the windows, use them elsewhere, and put a door in there. At some point this will go down a couple steps to another addition. Again, that's in another video. So let me get back to this. Okay, you can see the top of the framing here. This is the top plate, a double top plate. Again, I'm going with stiffness and strength. And because these are 16 inches on center, I need a double top plate. You can go with a single top plate if you are doing the advanced framing system. But again, this is like the advanced framing system. Everything aligns with each other, but it's 16 inches on center instead of 24 inches on center. We have 2 ledger boards here to get the height we need to come across over the top. I think the widest single one would not be high enough, and 2 smaller ones comes to nearly the exact height, so that's what I'm going to use. Those are 1 1/8 inch thick, and then this is just treated lumber here, treated lumber here. This is treated lumber here as well, and this will be painted. And then that will have an edge detail that kind of matches the on flat siding. This is a rain screen this is a rain screen siding, which has a 3/8 inch gap here, and air is allowed to flow behind the siding. Any rain that works its way up behind the siding just drips down on the rain screen wall back here and drips out the bottom. This is how the walls on the rest of the house are as well. At the bottom is Cor-A-Vent to stop bugs from getting in, and the siding itself is screwed with Cor-A-Vent spacers. It's screwed through the spacers and through this and into the wood. Well, depending on where it's at. Some of it will just be attached to the sheathing. And the sheathing is Zip-R system, which is, it's basically a waterproof OSB that acts as your house wrap, as well as the OSB sheathing layer, and it has foam attached to it. So when that's applied, I will use foam adhesive. It's not what they call for, but that's what I'm going to do regardless. You get a lot more shear strength with adhesive. Then on the inside it'll be 5/8 inch drywall, and I'll be using foam adhesive on that as well. So it makes for an incredibly rigid structure. Even in the highest wind, you don't hear a single creak. The only sounds you'll hear is likely to be your windows, because that's the way it is in the house now. We have expensive windows, Pella windows, and they still rattle when the wind is really blowing. But we get some really high winds here, so I guess that's to be expected. Can't stand it, but... Alright, and the flooring in here is 3 inches thick. I just faked in this floor. It's just got a fake finish. It's not going to be big tiles like this. I just put this in so I could get the level when I'm designing stuff. This sole plate needs to be a double because the floor is 3 inches thick, and I want the sole plate to come up to the bottom of the floor. This floor needs to have a drain in it, and it will have channels underneath the surface. It'll have channels, so if water gets in down to the slab, it will be able to drain out. And again, I'll show all that, how that all works in a future video. Right now I'm mostly trying to get the details around the windows, doors, and the rain screen figured out. So I pretty much have all of this figured out. Now I need to get a hold of Bison and double check to make sure my height's inside here. What they have is leveling feet that you can put a deck a wood deck or a stone deck. You can put stone pavers on here as well, which would look kind of like this. It's a pretty cool system. That's Bison. Oh, I don't know if it's Bison Manufacturing, but the place is called Bison. So I'm going to double check with them and make sure that all of this will work. I'm pretty sure it goes down from a 1/4 of an inch, and then they go up to real tall on the far end, which I don't need. So I can probably only use 2 different types of their leveler for the whole thing here. And again, this isn't that big. The roof sealer here, the membrane, will come up to this wall and it will wrap over and then down behind here. Then this will be applied to it, caulked and applied, and then this top part will be caulked and applied. So any water that works its way under here is not going to get into the wall itself. And I needed meat here. I don't know if this is big enough or not. I'll probably make this wood block right here. I'll probably bring it down, possibly down to here, to the back edge of this board right here. So I got a solid chunk of wood up here that I can screw down into, because I have the railing that goes on top of here. I'm not sure how long the railing screws will be, but they will likely be longer than what this is, and I have to screw this down as well. This will just be a board again, just like the deck boards here, and I'm thinking it's going to be white oak. That's my thought right now. I think it'll be cheaper for me than the exotics that they're importing, and it'll be more environmentally conscious. We have tons of white oak in this area. All right, and another detail right at the house. This will just be pretty much a ledger board screwed directly to the house through the foam. The house has 2 inches of foam on it, and it has a 3/4 inch rain screen. So the details right at the house, some of that will be figured out while I'm doing this. And from the recommendations and videos and stuff on how to do the membrane, because the membrane's going to have to go across the top here and then come up onto the wall. And in the doorway, it will go across the rooftop here, up the wall, and into the doorway, so that everything, there can't be any place here where water can get down behind this and get into the house. So there'll be a lot of details on this part that I have to work out as well. So let me see if I got anything else to show here. Oh yeah, this is what the frost protected shallow foundation looks like. And again, this looks like a thickened edge foundation. The difference is it's a monolithic pour, and it's 24 inches deep, and let's see how wide it is here. 12 inches thick at the edges, and either 4 or 5 inches thick on the slab. And then it's poured with the foam in place. I have to get that into the model so I can better figure out my sheathing out here. I may switch this sheathing to a thicker sheathing. I'm not sure, because the way this detail would work, this is 2 5/8 from the back of this to the face of it, and with 2 inches of foam here, this would just barely be past the foam. And then with the house here, we have stone on the bottom, so it would be nice to do this the same as the house. With the house has sheathing right on the studs and then the foam on the outside, and then you you screw right through the foam into the studs to hang everything off of it. I may switch that up. I may have to, or I may have to use a thicker, what is it called, zip-R system. But the thicker you go, the less shear strength you have. So then you got to start letting in diagonal boards and stuff. And with all these windows, there's really no place for it. So I'm not 100% sure that I can use the zip-R system or not. Or if I have to change the foam on the foundation, at least the part that's above ground. You know, if I change the top, I think it's 8 inches. 8 inches down, have that 1 inch, and then go to 2 inch where it goes underground. I will have to look into that. I don't know if you've ever seen it. We have stone on this face, and that goes directly onto the foam. It has fasteners that go through the foam into the concrete, and then there's a mesh on there, and then there's stone. And I believe we're going to do that on this as well. Have that same, it's a natural stone that's sliced thin. So that's my update. I might as well show you a couple things here. Oh, I think I showed this last time. This is the opening for the stained glass window right here, which is currently buried within the wall. We try to have everything ready for the next step and only build stuff when we have the cash for it, instead of taking out massive loans like some people do. Here is the air-to-air heat exchanger, and this is pretty much what it looks like in there. And you might have seen it. Well, it doesn't look like this. The model got jerked up a little bit a while back, and I haven't gone back and fixed it. So it kind of looks like this in there. It is a jumble of hoses and stuff. These are insulated ducts, and the air intake is back here, and the exhaust is right here, because we have this is for the furnace. You can see that comes over here and goes to this tiny little furnace. Heats the whole house because it's super insulated. Oh, and here's the porch. I designed this porch, and because I don't have my wood shop set up, there was no way I could really make it, so I had to have it. I sent out the drawings, and we had this made in Alabama, I believe, because they just wanted way too much for it locally. I would have liked to have built it myself, and I could have very easily, but we had this built in Alabama, and it's built of cypress, and these plugs right here are not in yet, and they are not square. They're going to be round. I don't know if you can see the other details here. These brackets here, I got some foam details and put those in because we didn't have the money at the time. So the ones that are in there are temporary, and at some point I'm going to put the real brackets in there. The ones that are on there are way too short. They come up to here. So I added a detail at the bottom, which is not in full yet. So that's going to be put in as well. I'm likely going to go around and finish up a lot of the little details on the house this summer. We're definitely going to put the siding on the back of the house that matches the rest of the siding. Except for the top detail, we're just going to side all the way up into here. So that's about it, I guess. Oh, and we have I'll show that later as well. We have some built-in furniture that I was going to show you, but I'll show you when I get closer to building it. Oh, and on this air-to-air, I think I've talked about this before, but I haven't shown it. You can see that it comes into the bay between these two joists here. Well, actually they're not really joists, they're trusses. You can see that it comes through there and then ends in here. This is completely sealed off in here, and it just uses the space in there as a duct. Then it comes to these 4 holes, which equals the same amount of airflow as in that pipe. It comes through these holes and blows against the chimney pipe, which comes up. There's a clean out in here. There's also a clean out downstairs. Comes up, and then comes through the hole in the wall here. And if you've seen the recent ones, I built a wall right here. Zip, 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 and then one back here. And this railing is no longer part of the design, so I will get rid of that at some point. And I think I already talked about all this stuff, this big old bracket in here, and then I have it actually, every single bay has an air vent. It has ventilation going through it, including ones that have penetrations running up through them. And then this is all taped with aluminum foil tape. And this model, like I said, the model is kind of jacked up a bit. Something got shifted a while back and I didn't notice it. But it doesn't look like this. It goes straight up through there. The building itself is correct. And then this is filled with insulation in here. Non-flammable insulation. So that's that. I will do another one on this when I get to another threshold. This threshold, I really wanted to get this parapet figured out and the screen wall. And I guess I really don't have this all figured out until I get this foam figured out down here. And actually the foam doesn't have to be stone covered at the bottom. I can use, there's finishes that can be put over the foam, and I can go that route with like a stucco finish. I'd rather not, but you know, it's another option, because I really don't want to build out the foam super wide on this. It's very expensive and it's really hard to do. So, well, we'll see. Well, that's about it. Except for this detail. We left the back of the house with house wrap on it just to keep the foam from being exposed to UV rays. The back of the addition, I'm not 100% sure what we're going to do back there. It's not that big. So it's possible that we can put this zip-R system all the way across on the back and just paint that. I'll have to contact them and see how that stuff reacts to paint, because the zip-R system has a green coating on it, and that is, it's like impregnated vinyl, so it actually doesn't need to be covered. Actually, I could put tar paper on it as well. We had tar paper on a small temporary shelter that we built, or a temporary lean-to, and that was on for 7 years, and it never leaked. So I don't think we're going to wait 7 years on this, but regardless, tar paper would actually work on it, so it would just be on this small face. Again, I'll figure that out shortly as well, and I'll update when I got new stuff. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you get updates when we post new videos. Oh, you gotta click on the update button as well for that. A thumbs up would be great. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.